Hello everyone, this is Zooc and today I'm bringing you a new logo design video. This one is going to be for something called Bullnator. But before we get into the actual logo, I just wanted to approach a couple of topics before. First off, sorry for the scarcity of content lately. Ever since I got back from Prague a couple of weeks ago, I've been dealing with a lot of work that piled up all at once. And I want to get as much of it done before I go back to Prague in about a week's time and lose access to my triple monitor setup and my big tablet and all the powerful computer, all the stuff that facilitates me doing my work fast and efficiently. So I'd rather do it here than do it on not a shitty laptop, it's a pretty good one, but a less than ideal condition over there. So yeah, unfortunately I can't show a large part of it because some of the clients insisted that I keep it under wraps until they reveal it themselves, and God only knows how long that can take, and so I just forgot about it and I can focus on whatever I can actually show. I've also been spending a large part of my time looking for a place to rent over there in Prague. I've decided to move over there with my girlfriend, at least for a longer period than just 1 month, and live that young adult independent life that so many people are after. I'm almost 29 years old, so I think it's about time I did that. But as it so happens, it's actually really difficult finding a decent place to rent, because unless you want to live at the very outskirts of the city, a lot of stuff there is that is very central, or at least somewhat central, is going to cost a lot of money. And the second issue, which is kind of ridiculous actually, but hey, it exists, is the fact that a lot of Czechs don't really care about good internet. We have a company here called UPC, which is an internet service provider, which I use. They have really good speeds, not so much reliability, but really good speeds. The Czechs have it too, but they also have another provider called O2, which happens to offer the worst fucking speeds and reliability that I've read about, at least. I think their maximum offer is 40 megs download and 2 upload, which for my job, which involves uploading 5 to 6 to 7 to God only knows how many gigabyte videos on a pretty much daily basis and taking care of it and uploading it in good time, is garbage. I can't do 2 megabytes upload. That's ridiculous. I need at least 10 or 6 or something decent, something for 2015. But when approaching the real estate agents with these issues, they just shrug their shoulders because they can't fathom the concept of people working from home and needing internet for something else than checking emails like the majority of people do. But to be honest, come on, it's 2015. Like, there's a lot of people that work from home and do their business from home, and they need fast and reliable internet. It's not such an absurd concept. But for some people it is. A lot of these real estate people are pretty old and they just don't get it. When you ask them about this stuff, they shrug their shoulders like, why would you ever care about what internet is there? There's internet, haha. Yeah, it's not quite like that, retard, but okay, let's just go with that. So yeah, it's quite difficult finding a place, but I have faith that eventually I'll be able to, and my girlfriend is taking care of the talking, obviously, because a lot of them don't speak English, but what you gonna do? That's the situation. So anyway, let's get to the actual artwork. Basically, the client wanted something involving a bull's head with a Terminator eye. If you remember Terminator, at some point in the end sequence, or even in the poster, I think, it had an eye that was revealed as a glowy, orange, red, robotic sort of thing. That's why the name, Bullnator. Terminator and Bull combined. So I went with something that I instinctively go for, which is a somewhat of a cartoony approach, but it's modern enough to stand up on its own with the best of them. And I had a bit of back and forth with the client because he wasn't exactly sure what he wanted at the beginning. So a lot of times with people like that, not that there's anything wrong with that, it happens that some people can actually point their finger at what they want specifically. You got to show them what they don't want. So I spent a bit of time creating this first version, which I was happy with. I thought it looked really cool. But as it so happens, my client didn't quite agree with me. He wanted something a bit more minimalistic, a bit more modern-ish. And so we went with a low poly approach. Now, low poly is one of those design trends that has taken up quite a bit of momentum lately. A lot of things are in low poly. A lot of wallpapers are getting made that way. A lot of characters, even games. So it's gaining quite a bit of popularity. Although it's a bit more difficult for people that have no 3D experience, because low poly obviously involves making something in some sort of 3D software such as Cinema 4D, which actually if I were to start now, it would look like it was written in Chinese for me. Honestly, I messed a bit with that software, and the interface is just, it's so counterintuitive compared to everything I'm used to, with that being the Adobe suite, that it's crazy. but it's very useful. I've seen what you can do with Cinema 4D. You can do a lot of really cool shit, which would take an enormous amount of time to achieve with something like Illustrator or even Photoshop. But unfortunately, I just don't have the motivation in me to start watching Cinema 4D tutorials right now. I will have to eventually, because it's becoming a necessary skill even for just graphic designers and not necessarily character artists or concept artists. What you gonna do? Times are changing, tides are flowing, and all that shit. Gotta go with the flow. So I decided to just go for a handmade approach. So I drew something by hand, scanned it, and mirrored it, and built it the best way I thought possible, according to the low poly sort of rules, I guess, if you will. I want to sincerely apologize to anyone with 3D modeling experience that will see this thing I've created and facepalm at the inaccuracy of how the polygons actually tie into each other. But I'm quite happy with it, and the client was absolutely thrilled with it. Of course, well, not of course, but it happens more often than not that my clients are very happy with what I make than the other option. And he went for it straight away with basically no modifications. So it was one of those situations where I had to show the client what he doesn't want so he can realize what he does want. Now, the way I colored this in Illustrator was with the live painting bucket or the live painting tool. Basically, what you do is select a group of shapes or a bundle of shapes, and you pick your live paint bucket tool and you create a live paint bucket group. And it becomes very easy to color a lot of shapes in different colors, and you can sample. It has a lot of the functionality of the classic paint bucket tool, only it's meant for situations such as this. So I got to use a new tool and enhanced my knowledge and diversified my style. So in the end, it was a positive experience for me. I made something that looks stylish enough and modern enough for me to be happy with. And also, of course, the client was absolutely thrilled. So this was, in the end, a successful project. I'm still a bit sad that he didn't go for what I made the first time, but I can totally understand why some people want to divert from that kind of tattoo-ish heavy metal style into something a bit more abstract and modern, and that was his preference, so I have to respect that, even if I disagree with it. That's one of the compromises you have to make in this line of business. Even if you disagree with the client, you still have to sort of go for it. If convincing them doesn't work, then you have to lay down your weapons and go with whatever they want. So that was that. But of course, I did get to add the personal touch to it and give it that mean, badass look that I often give most of my designs. It's just something I got used to, I guess. I make most of my creatures look very mean and pissed off and aggressive looking. But I think this explains very well what the name is about. He wanted something that he could use without the name, and it was self-explanatory enough to lead the viewer's mind to the idea of Terminator and link that to the bull's head and form the word Bullnator. So the text in this logo will get used. I'm actually not even going to show the text because it's a very simple text and it doesn't really mean anything. So yeah, the text can be used alternatively if the situation permits, but the idea was to have a symbol that defines very well the idea of bull plus Terminator head. So that was that. Anyway, this is going to be it for this project. Thank you very much for watching. Please rate that shit, and I'll see you guys for my next video whenever that may be. Yeah. Thanks again. See you around. Bye-bye.